Hey there, amazing English learners! Welcome back to another inspiring episode of English Mastery Podcast. I'm Vey, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host James. This is your go-to destination for real English learning stories that will motivate you and give you practical strategies to succeed. Today, we've got something absolutely incredible for you, a genuine success story that will show you exactly how one person transformed from struggling with movie dialogues to achieving confident English fluency.
Absolutely, Vey. Hey everyone, I'm James, and today's episode is going to be pure inspiration mixed with actionable advice. We're diving into the real journey of someone who went from feeling completely lost while watching English movies, constantly rewinding to understand a single sentence, to becoming a confident English speaker who can express herself naturally and fluently. And the best part? She's going to share exactly how she did it, step by step.
Yes, James. And you know what I love most about today's story? It's authentic, it's relatable, and it proves that anyone literally can master English if they have the right mindset and strategies. We're talking about someone who initially saw English as just another boring school subject, but then experienced that life-changing moment when she realized how much she was missing out on by not understanding English properly.
Oh, that's such a common experience, isn't it, Vey? So many of our listeners probably remember sitting in English class feeling overwhelmed by grammar rules, exceptions, and then exceptions to the exceptions. It can feel like an endless maze. But here's what's beautiful about today's story. It shows how real motivation can completely transform your relationship with the language. Sometimes all it takes is one moment of realization to change everything.
Exactly, James. So let me paint the picture for our listeners. Imagine you're traveling with friends to an English-speaking country. Let's say you're visiting London, and suddenly you realize that you can't communicate effectively. You're surrounded by this amazing language, but you feel completely disconnected from it. That frustrating feeling of being lost, of missing out on conversations, experiences, and connections, that's exactly what sparked this incredible transformation journey.
I can totally relate to that feeling, Vey. It's like being in a room full of people having animated conversations, but you're stuck behind a glass wall, watching but not truly participating. And you know what's interesting? This realization didn't lead to traditional studying methods. Instead, it sparked a completely creative and immersive approach to learning English. We're talking about turning favorite movies and TV shows into powerful learning tools.
Yes, and James, this is where the story gets really interesting. Instead of diving into grammar books, which, let's face it, can be pretty dry and boring, our success story person decided to immerse herself in authentic English content. She started watching her favorite movies and TV shows in English, initially with Spanish subtitles, then gradually switching to English subtitles, and finally, here's the brave part, watching with no subtitles at all.
Can you imagine that journey, Vey? Going from missing half of what was being said in a movie to understanding everything naturally. I love this approach because it's so much more engaging than traditional methods. But let's be honest, it wasn't easy at the beginning. There were definitely moments of rewinding the same scene multiple times, trying to catch a single sentence, feeling frustrated when dialogues moved too fast.
Absolutely, James. And that's what makes this story so authentic and encouraging. Real learning involves struggle, confusion, and breakthrough moments. But here's what's brilliant. Instead of giving up during those challenging moments, she kept pushing forward because she knew that listening to native speakers was crucial for improving comprehension skills. Plus, she discovered something magical, using English songs as pronunciation and vocabulary practice tools.
Oh, I love the music element, Vey. There's something so natural about learning through songs. Even when you don't understand every word, you're absorbing rhythm, intonation, and natural speech patterns. Music makes language learning fun and memorable. But I'm sure our success story faced some major challenges during this immersion phase. English has so many nuances, idioms, phrasal verbs, slang expressions. It can feel overwhelming.
You're absolutely right, James. And this brings us to one of the biggest challenges many English learners face, those tricky phrasal verbs. Imagine trying to understand why give up means to quit, or why bring up can mean both mentioning something and raising a child. These don't make logical sense when you translate them directly. It's like learning a secret code where the individual words don't necessarily reveal the true meaning.
Phrasal verbs are definitely like secret codes. And speaking of challenges, let's talk about the fear of speaking something almost every English learner experiences. Picture this scenario. You've been studying, you've rehearsed sentences in your head, you know what you want to say, but when it's time to actually speak, you freeze. Your confidence disappears, and you feel stuck between knowing and doing.
That speaking anxiety is so real, James. And you know what's funny? Sometimes the mistakes we make while learning become the most memorable lessons, like accidentally saying "I'm fool" instead of "I'm full" after a meal, and having friends laugh and call you fool for the rest of the day. These embarrassing moments actually become powerful learning experiences because they're so memorable.
Ha ha, that's hilarious and so relatable, Vey. But here's the beautiful part of the story, how she overcame that fear of making mistakes. She started small by talking to herself in English, narrating her daily activities like, "Now I'm making breakfast," or "I need to go to the grocery store." It might sound silly, but this self-talk practice helped her get comfortable with speaking without the pressure of someone else listening and judging.
That's such a smart strategy, James. And then she took it to the next level by joining online language exchange communities where she could practice with native speakers. Initially, she was nervous about sounding foolish or not keeping up with conversations, but she discovered something amazing. People are generally patient and understanding when they know you're learning. They appreciate the effort you're making.
Exactly, V. And this leads us to some incredible strategies that really accelerated her progress. One technique that made a huge difference was shadowing, listening to short clips of native speakers and trying to repeat exactly what they said, mimicking their intonation, rhythm, and pronunciation. This forces you to pay attention to the subtle details of how English is actually spoken, not just the words themselves.
Yes, shadowing is like being a linguistic detective, James. You're analyzing not just what people say, but how they say it. And she combined this with strategic podcast listening, starting with podcasts that had transcripts available so she could follow along, then gradually moving to podcasts without transcripts. The key insight here is that you don't need to understand every single word to get the overall meaning of a conversation.
That's such an important realization, Vey. Perfect understanding isn't necessary for effective communication. And speaking of strategies, let's talk about vocabulary building, because that's where many learners struggle. Instead of just memorizing random word lists, she kept a vocabulary journal, writing down new words along with the complete sentences where she encountered them. Context makes all the difference in remembering and using new vocabulary.
Absolutely. And James, she used something called spaced repetition, reviewing her vocabulary journal after a day, then after a week, then after a month. This technique helps transfer words from short-term memory to long-term memory. But here's the secret sauce. She actively tried to use new words in conversations, even when she wasn't completely sure about the usage. Practice beats perfection every time.
That's so true, Vey. And I love her creative approach to making vocabulary memorable, creating personal associations with new words. Like learning the word meticulous and thinking about a meticulous person in her life, like an aunt who's always very detailed about everything. These personal connections make abstract vocabulary concrete and unforgettable.
Yes, And let's talk about the amazing resources she discovered along her journey. Apps like Anki for spaced repetition flashcards, YouTube channels focused on everyday English expressions that you don't find in textbooks, English language newsletters and blogs that exposed her to the language in various contexts. The key was constant exposure through multiple channels and formats.
And Vey, what I find inspiring is that even after achieving significant progress, she still considers herself a learner. She continues focusing on advanced aspects like idioms and cultural references, joined an English book club for discussion practice, and maintains her immersion habits through reading, news consumption, and even social media posting in English.
That growth mindset is absolutely crucial, James. And as we wrap up this incredible success story, let's highlight the key takeaways for our listeners. First, be patient with yourself. Language learning is a journey, not a sprint. Second, consistency beats intensity. Practice a little every day rather than cramming occasionally. Third, don't fear mistakes because they're stepping stones to fluency, not obstacles.
Beautifully summarized, Vey. And remember, make learning enjoyable by finding what you love, whether it's music, movies, podcasts, or conversation groups. When you're having fun, you'll naturally want to continue practicing. Most importantly, surround yourself with English as much as possible. Change your phone language to English. Follow English-speaking influencers. Even talk to yourself in English.
Exactly, James. And to everyone listening right now, remember that this success story we shared isn't unique or extraordinary in terms of talent or resources. It's extraordinary in terms of determination, creativity, and consistent effort. If she could transform from struggling with movie dialogues to confident English fluency, so can you. Your English journey is valid, your progress matters, and we believe in your potential completely.
Perfect words to end on, Vey. Thank you all for joining us on this inspiring journey through one person's English transformation. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent speaker once struggled with basic conversations, and every success story started with a single decision to keep going despite the challenges. Until next time, this is James.
And Vey, reminding you that your English dreams are absolutely achievable with the right strategies, consistent practice, and unwavering belief in yourself. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Mastery Podcast.